Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. And before I get started, I've just got to share this really funny story with you because I can't stop laughing about it. I just went for a walk on the beach and I'm walking along, heaps of people on the beach, and then all of a sudden there's this guy in the water coming out and he's making a beeline to me, kind of like this blonde Adonis, and he's like, strutting up to me, and and it's just a sight because there's the beer gut, he's got the long neck beer in his hand, he's got gaps in his teeth, and he's making a beeline for me. So anyway, I look at him and he goes, "Hi, beautiful," and I'm like, "Hi." Small talk, I'm not giving him an inch, and he's like, "What are you doing tonight? Where are you going?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'm going home, bye." And he keeps trying to talk, and as I walk off he goes, "Love you." What is that? It was the funniest thing, and as I'm walking home I just kept laughing. I thought, love you is something you say to your kids, it's what you say to your partner, it's what you say to your girlfriends, just as you're about to get off the phone or you say goodbye to them. Who does that? It was just hilarious. Anyway, I've got to stop laughing about it and get on with today's Thriver TV. So, because this is a serious topic, it's about peace. And anyway, write in if you've ever had that experience, somebody who just meets you and calls out, "Love you," please, because I've never come across that before. It was hilarious. Anyway, all right, so about peace. I remember many years ago when I was online and I tried to get support from other people suffering narcissistic abuse. And I discovered I was entering something akin to a battlefield. There were injured people, they're screaming in agony everywhere, and peace certainly wasn't a thing. It seemed like nobody had it and much less knew how to get it. Peace clearly wasn't a priority in those groups, even though I'm sure everybody deeply wanted it because it's what we all want. But instead, people were sharing their war stories with each other and they were getting angrier and more devastated about what narcissists had done to them. In today's Thriver TV episode, I want to talk to you about peace and how it is the #1 commodity to go for, as well as how when you make peace, how you make peace with everything, then everything else will follow. I'm also going to help you know how to achieve peace after narcissistic abuse, regardless of whether the narcissist is in your life, and even if you can't go non-contact with this person, and it doesn't matter who the narcissist is, whatever capacity they are in your life. So why is peace everything? It's because at quantum reality level, everything in your outer universe is responding to your inner universe. And when we start awakening to this, we know our emotional inner state is exactly the template for how our outer life will go. The old beliefs we had as humans are this: if I change what is going on outside of me, then how I feel on the inside will change. But it's wrong town. This is an especially flawed premise when dealing with narcissists, because if you try to battle them from an inner place of devastation, heartbreak, and white-hot fear, then what the narcissist is going to dish up to you is even greater abuse, providing more of these inner states. When we become conscious, we know that we are self-generative beings, and if we achieve peace on the inside, then narcissists start to lose their power over us. We're no longer triggered. We respond in ways that don't feed them energy, or we refuse to respond at all. We take calm action against what the narcissist is trying to do, or just let the attempt melt away on its own accord. We can lay clear, solid boundaries where necessary and stop trying to appease the narcissist, strike a deal, and keep them sane, which only allows them to abuse and take more from us. because we're no longer giving in to their disordered threats, demands, accusations, and grandstanding. We stand tall instead. We also start to experience from life, connected to this situation, the right people showing up to grant more of the peace that we've established on the inside. And we find that as a result of taking care of and supporting our own emotional state and bringing it to peace, that life and others start to support us as well. It seems like a miracle, but it's not. It's simply quantum law, so within, so without. And before you say, Melanie, here is this new age woohoo crap that is not logical again, I really invite you to not just take my word for it, which maybe you're not. Instead, look deeply at your own life and be honest with yourself. From fixing a household issue to a disagreement with anyone, were the results favourable when you felt agitated and out of sorts? No. Anything you tried to fix, physical or emotional or otherwise, didn't work. And it was only when you calmed down, when you went for peace before the issue was solved, that you got real results. Neuroscientists are now proving when we're in emotional trauma that we don't have access to the part of our brain required for solution. They also believe that there is no access to thoughts or the field, which is the unfoldings, that are of a healthier version than that of the trauma. So the bottom line is, I don't personally care what proof there is or what I could be researching, because to me, truly, that's all a waste of time. But be my guest if you wish to. Rather, what I think is the best thing to do is simply start making peace your priority before outer events shift, and then see them shift, sometimes instantly. And you'll be living the truth of this quantum law, and then, and really only then, you're going to believe it. And if you want to experience what I'm saying, and if this resonates with you, I'm running a workshop this week that will help you with the releasing of the traumas that aren't allowing you to feel inner peace. And you can easily sign up by just clicking the link at the top right of this video. And I'd love to help you do that. So let's have a deeper look at peace. I want to explain to you what establishing peace in the face of trauma isn't. It's not giving up and giving in. It's not condoning and allowing somebody's poor behaviour. And it's not apathy or non-caring. Rather, establishing peace in the face of trauma is bringing one's power back to self, which is the only place it resides. It's aligning with and creating your healthy life regardless of what somebody else is or isn't doing to you. And it's caring about your life and your application to it, as well as what is true and real in profound and powerful ways. Interestingly, a lack of inner peace, which means having the trauma remain within, creates the very opposite of the results we want, ironically, which is, of course, resolution and then inner peace. And this is because the feelings, thoughts, and needing accountability and justice, all of those traumas, and not being able to feel any peace unless this happens, only means more victimization and lack of closure keeps happening. How interesting it is in the way the human experience has been set up, which we all missed because we weren't taught it. The state, the feeling of peace, must precede the events that bring peace. Relief comes before result. And I'm going to repeat that. Relief needs to come before result. It's not the other way around. And this is why we need to go for the peaceful emotion first. So what does peace really mean? It means this: no longer triggers me. It means being trauma-free. It means no matter what my outer life looks like and what is going on, I'm connected to myself peacefully. I'm in acceptance that all of this is unfolding perfectly for my highest good and greatest self, and I am safe. And you'll see that in the transcript. That can be a really powerful mantra for you narpers to release all of your resistance to that, because that's peace. So this means not being attached to any particular outcome at all. This means not needing any particular outcome to occur in order to be peaceful, because you already are. That is your greatest place of power. And I know getting there is a really big call after narcissistic abuse. It's massive. And if you told me to just be like this after narcissistic abuse, I probably wouldn't have been responsible for the swear words I would have said to you. I would have been incensed by that. But fortunately, you know that I've been through it, and you know that I too was at the brink of total destruction from narcissistic abuse, and I came back. And the reason is because I now know how to go for and be peaceful under every circumstance. And since doing this, finally, for the first time in lifetimes, my life has filled with abundance and joy, and my life works, whereas before it never did. The one simple formula I have that creates this is with every topic in my life that hurts me, confuses me, or challenges me is I do quantum freedom healing on it. I release all associated trauma and painful beliefs out of my inner being on that topic, and I bring in my superconscious self, which knows what to generate and do for my highest good. It knows what to do, what my logical mind doesn't. And then I shift. I feel, think, and operate in healthy ways on that topic because I'm at peace about it. That's it. That's what I do. So now that I hope I've inspired you to get to peace no matter what, I really hope I can answer now some of the burning questions that you may have about this topic. And the first is how to get to peace when enmeshed with a narcissist. So you may still be living with a narcissist, working with one, running into a family narcissist at gatherings, or maybe you have a narcissist as a neighbor. And I know what that's like because I used to have one. You may have heard everywhere how vital no contact is and how it is so hard to heal without it. This is where modified contact comes in, which is about detaching as much as possible and not granting any emotional energy to the narcissist at all, regardless of how much he or she tries to trigger you by baiting you with insults, threats, bad behavior, or parading new supply in your face, or whatever it is. And these things can be very painful. And absolutely having the narcissist still in your face takes things to another level. Yet please know, after the psychic vandalization of narcissistic abuse, even if you never see the narcissist ever again, he or she is living on inside of you anyway. You're not free of the narcissist at all until you learn what I'm about to tell you, which is the peace component. The only way to get peace is this: resolve everything within yourself that the narcissist triggers. And this following orientation is required. And it's a shift away from, I'm going to retaliate and try to stop you assaulting, hurting, degrading me, to, you're trying to get attention from me to feed your significance with any method possible. I now cut off that energy supply by giving you nothing. And thank you for triggering within me a past life, generational, or childhood trauma that I haven't been able to find and release yet. And now that I can track, release, and live free of this trauma, you've just handed me the next key to not just release myself from you and your garbage, but also the fears and traumas that have always held me back in some way. So this is the deal. Rather than latching onto trying to belt the narcissist around the ears to give ourselves a state of peace, we go inwards, find the associated triggered trauma, release it, and we bring peace in instead. And then truly, what the narcissist is saying to you and trying to do to you becomes as insignificant as a slug that you just stepped over on the pavement and continued walking past. Yes, the narcissist may pop and up the ante because you're not giving them narcissistic supply, but then calmly and clearly you report any threats or physical acts and you mean it. No more are you going to get shoved around. You're not buying into abuse. You refuse to participate with it, and you will not tolerate it. When you become anti-fear and embody peace and strength, wait and see how powerless the narcissist becomes. Naturally, getting away from abuse and not having abusive people in your life is the goal. So this level of powerful, peaceful detachment can create the space to get your new life started so that you can do such things like restart again. You can look for another profession, or know that now this family member can only approach you if they're respectful, or you're not going to grant them anything. You're just not going to bite, you'll walk away, you'll hang up the phone, you'll do whatever it takes to detach. Or maybe the narcissist, now that you're prepared to forge your own life calmly and powerfully, just disappears and leaves your experience anyway. That's exactly what my neighbor did. Totally. And trust me, this happens a lot. I've seen this happen in custody and settlements where narcissists capitulate. They just get out of it when they can't win and they can't get supply and nothing's working for them and they're just seeing a person getting more and more empowered. They have to get out. They really do. So all of this is profound, huh? It really is. And profoundly true. You just have to live it to find out. So let's have a look at this really difficult bit, which is getting to peace under the most horrific circumstances. And I know with all my heart how terrible it's been for many of you, suffering terrible losses, including possibly the custody of your children, things that are so beyond painful that it seems impossible to reach a state of peace. I talk about in my free Quantum Freedom Healing Workshop, which I invited you to before, and I'm going to invite you to it again, how Dot, a very senior Napa in her 70s, had not seen her children or her grandchildren for 32 years because of a narcissistic ex-husband alienating them from her. After working out modules and releasing that unspeakable trauma about this, which had haunted Dot her whole life every day, her estranged son made contact with her out of the blue. He did that within 2 weeks of her starting to work on herself. And now she's connected to all of her family lovingly. Was this a coincidence? No, I don't believe it was. What happened was finally Dot reached peace with what is on that topic, and then that made room for the shift. The same happens when we've had health and financial devastations with narcissists. Myself and so many thrivers who were burning in hell in the horrible traumatization of losing everything we'd worked our entire lives for. and then suffering the added injury of being unable to rebuild because of our health, we experienced incredible and miraculous healing and a reinstating of wellness in our lives when we released our trauma and came to peace with what is on these topics. And I wrote this testimony from our beautiful member of the NARP community, Anki, in my book, You Can Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse. I wrote this on page 202, the transcript of what she'd written. So what Anki said, she said, I am a totally different person. I was told at 50 years of age that I had chronic untreatable diseases, leaving me with no ability to function or work. Yet after only 3 months of going through NARP, I'm now working and exercising again. I am also completely free from 15 years of medication. And then she goes on to say, I had no idea how on earth I could provide accommodation for myself and my son. Now I have my own place near my work in the nature with forests and a lake outside my door. The shift in my son's as well as my other children's emotional and health states have been nothing short of miraculous as well. So I really hope that this has inspired you, even in the face of the most horrible pain and circumstances, that there is hope. And in fact, I want to hold your hand and I want to take you through an actual shift that releases trauma and grants you peace right now, or as soon as there is a time convenient for you, and there is this week. So please join me in my free workshop, and we're going to go through a quantum freedom healing together, which is the tool that has allowed myself and so many others worldwide establish peace, healing and resurrection where nothing else has worked. So to access this, just click the link at the top right of this video. And if you resonate with my videos, please like and subscribe so that you're notified when each new one is released. And I so look forward to our conversation about this so important topic here. So until next time, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving, because there's nothing else to do. And I'm going to finish off by saying, love you. Bye.